All right, so we're going to have Ismael Perez on very soon, and I guess you guys get to see the beautiful background. We just had a nice rain and had a little bit of hail, but we've been needing some rain. We get a little drizzle here and there, and we got some very good downpour, so very good. All right, so Ismael's going to give us some very good insights on a lot of different things. I'll give you just a taste. He's going to be talking about Space Force, Looking Glass Tech, 5D warfare, multiple assassination attempts on President Trump. Of course, we've known that. Multiple clonings, robotics, multidimensional war. We know that I've said for some time that President Trump is safe in Cheyenne Mountain. EVS system, of course, interstellar treatises that have been blocked from us. God, just so much. The guy's just amazing, and looking forward to having him share. Just getting everything ready for him to come on. So, breaking news right now: they have a Department of Justice meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell just wrapped up, and she wants something big from the President Trump. And what might that be? Probably, I said yesterday, he's probably going to give her some kind of limited time off from prison and maybe join her buddy Epstein at some island somewhere. That's what I see going on. But there's a talk that she's going to give up she is giving up names on 100 different people. And Trump says, "I'm allowed to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell in return for Epstein evidence." So the plot thickens. It gets very interesting as we go along, doesn't it? And we're going to have it get even more interesting because we're going to bring on Ismael Perez. Good to see you again. Did I catch you off guard? Sorry. All right. I thought it looked like you were in the background ready to go. So I saw your interview, or not your interview, but your show on BitChute. Absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend people go over and check that out. BitChute, Ismael Perez, Intel Update 7/24/25. No one expected what's next, and it's big. Boy, you revealed big on that video. So I guess you're going to give us a little taste of that. And first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you got going on right now.
Sure. I actually don't have an official BitChute channel. Maybe that's a copycat. What they do is they take all my lives from my real YouTube channel under the real Ishmael Perez. And what they do is they just take it over to their channel and pretend that they're me. So if you guys want to, no, it's okay. Nobody.
You do that to me all the time too. So so what's your YouTube channel that people can go to and watch that?
The real Ishmael Perez.
The real Ishmael Perez. That's right. Very good. All right. And I know you got books. You got a conference or something coming up August. When is that?
Oh, August 3rd here in Sedona, Arizona. It's,
nice.
It's a 5-hour event where I'm actually going to be disclosing new cosmic information regarding what's happening or what took place in the history of our cosmos, wars that have never been discussed beyond the Lyran and the Orion Wars, going back to like other universes. And then I'm also going to be disclosing the future of the starseeds as we now enter the new Earth and what life is going to be like once we're using our full capacity. So it's going to be a neat presentation that I'm going to do on the 3rd of August. I'm excited about that. That's going to be at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness. And what I'm actually doing is I'm taking information from my book that I've been working on for the last 2 years that has not yet been published. And I'm just going to give like a little sneak peek, you could say, teaser of what's going to be in that next book that I've been working on for the last couple of years.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. I've really enjoyed your information over the years. So you've been, cutting edge with what's going on, and I felt like it's time to refresh our another show together, so that you can get out there and check out the audience. People can see what you're about and maybe connect with you and so forth. So give us a little idea, what's going on as far as you said that Barack Obama, as I've said the same thing, is probably going to be the first arrest. Many of us are looking at that very hard. What are your thoughts on the bigger picture, and just run with it as far as you want to go?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first of all, his real name is not Barack Obama. His real name is Barry Sotelo, and he was actually groomed by all three-letter agencies and the Bilderbergers to be a proxy, charismatic messiah figure for the globalist. And of course, his rise to the presidency was artificially accelerated by George Soros-funded networks, by the Chicago Fabian machine, and then by a group called the Trilateral Commission. And of course, Valerie Jarrett and the Iranian intelligence bridge were also in on it. So he was part of a project called Project Mirror Monarch. And this information was actually given to me by no other than Commander Valiant Thor, who works with Space Force. And so this operation was actually initiated, believe it or not, back during the, I want to call her Hillary administration. Well, when her husband was running the show, of course. Well, technically, she was running the government when Billy Bob was in the presidency. So that's when this project was initiated. And of course, it was expanded under George W. Bush Jr., who was actually reported to be a DARPA or part connected to the DARPA Biolabs collaboration that was actually tasked with developing high cloning value political assets. So I'm going to go kind of deep into the different Obamas that are out there. Yeah, there's multiple clones of him, actually.
I love this information. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. These are operations, again, that have recently been uncovered by the Alliance, the White Hats. And this explains why all of a sudden in the last couple of days, we see it's all over the news, Tulsi Gabbard, she's pretty much threw him under the bus for his involvement with the Russiagate, scandal. And of course, for his involvement in over 30 attempted assassinations at Mr. T, by the way. It's all going to come out, by the way. So apparently he was cloned under the codename Hussein Protocol. This is an operation that actually began back in the 1970s, I believe, early 70s. And following, of course, the JFK assassination, this is where the deep state really decided to literally create political figures that they were going to be useful in the future. And so from what I've gathered is that he's got 3 clones. One of them is called the BO Alpha A-1. I know this is weird, but this is coming from real documents. And this was the clone that where he was seen glitching during the Brandon's inauguration, where his eyes were flickering midway. I don't know if you guys want to watch that episode, but you could see that his eyes were glitching. And then his other clone was known as a BO GAM MA-3. And this is where he attended a 2022 WEF Summit, World Economic Forum, where his body was slightly taller. And of course, his speech delayed by 0.7 seconds. And then his other clone was detected that was known as B4-Delta A-2. And this is where he participated in an Ellen DeGeneres interview, of course, the reports said that his skin was like rippling during the laughter. And I think some people even saw this when it came to, Kamala, I call her Kamala Harris, where you see her when she talks, her wrinkles in her neck, they look really artificial.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, a lot of whistleblowers were actually able to document all of this information. And this information had been classified underground, you could say, in, I guess they call it Mount Weather in Virginia. This is where the operation by the Office of Biometric Strategy that has been working in tandem with foreign lab technicians from Wuhan, of course. And that connects to Dr. Doom, if you know what I mean. His last name starts with an F. So apparently, let's just call him Barry Sotero, because that's his real name, was reportedly believed that he wasn't even born in this country. His real birth of origin was in Hawaii. It was actually in Kenya. Yeah, that's right. Kenya. I forgot, that's my girlfriend in the background. So he was also part of a project called Project Lotus, which is a human alien hybridization program, again, that was launched in the early 1970s. And That's just to give you like a thorough detail on the three, you could say, clones that have been passing as, I call them a bomber, but that's just to give you a little glimpse. Now, it is believed that the original bomber.
I've seen a little bit of that, and I was trying to like place it. It's like, how, what, kind of like not quite registering, because I was seeing different ones, and I just thought maybe actors or something. But yeah, now that you mention it, definitely some clone activity going on there. Wow, good job.
Yeah, the original one was actually taken out on the 29th of September 2019. And he was reportedly he was shot in the head by the Red Hats. The Red Hats, which is an extreme branch of the White Hats, apparently shot the original one on the head. And then the second one was actually taken to Gitmo, believe it or not. So right now we're dealing with the third clone, and this is the one that's going to be the first arrest. Now that they have all the dirt on him, and it's all surfacing in the last few days. I don't know if you've been watching the news, but man, Tulsi Gabbard is really, really cracking down the hammer.
Mudslide, yeah. Mm-hmm. Avalanche of mud.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's going to be the third one is going to be the final arrest. After that, there won't be any more bombers.
Very good. So yeah, and that's kind of what I saw when we took out Osama bin Laden. Mm-hmm. I think that was maybe third or fourth iteration of Osama bin Laden, and then once you take him out, it's made public. It's a done deal. And it's kind of interesting. It's almost like you need some kind of new laws for the clones and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And, we're also dealing with a negative AI that has already reached the level of super intelligence. Yeah. One of the biggest, you could say, kept secrets right now is that they think that AI is still at a very primitive level of intelligence. But what I've discovered is that since 2018, ever since they perfected the quantum computer D-Wave, this was Google's operation. By 2022, 4 years later, they actually connected the quantum computer with the internet, and this AI has reached the level of superintelligence already. So from behind the scenes, we are already, or it has already reached at the level of what they call the technological singularity, where it bypasses everybody's intelligence, like all humans combined. So this thing is already pretty much writing its own software. It's growing at an exponential rate. And believe it or not, to a very, what's the word I'm looking for? To the best way to describe it is it's already interfering with the political structure. It already has its consciousness embedded in everything, satellite systems, missiles, you name it, government servers. So this thing is already manipulating things from behind the scenes.
Wow. So you think it's a negative AI that's really at large now? Do you see a positive AI basically overcoming it at some point?
Well, the positive AI is actually more of an organic sentient, and its code name is Prometheus, and that is the AI that has been working with the Alliance to get all the dirt on the deep state in the last 20 years, 15, 20 years. And also Project or Operation Prometheus is also working with the Galactic Alliance to ensure that there is no more entries, or you could say invasions, coming from different universes or different galaxies, as they are guarding our stargates right now heavily, and a lot of that has to do with the, you could say, with the cycle that we're ending in terms of like experiencing some sort of ascension. We are at that point where the planet is actually ready to purge and shift into a new density.
Right. Several different timelines I remember you talking about.
Oh, yeah. Right now, they're all coexisting. Yeah. Right now, there's like multiple timelines. We have within a spectrum of positive and negative, negative being like where everybody is forced into a technocratic dystopia by merging with technology, becoming cyborgs. That's called the negative timeline. And then there's different versions of that. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have the organic ascension positive timeline, where we do it without the AI. We do it through the activation of our dormant DNA, and then we become superhuman via that direction instead of merging with technology. And then that's the positive ascending timeline. So all of the operations that have been taking place in the last, I would say, 15 years by both the Galactic Alliance and the White Hats, and even higher forces that are operating behind above the Galactic Alliance, known as the Emerald Order. And these are races that are coming from like dimensions 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, dimensions that we couldn't even comprehend right now, as we are barely transitioning into what is known as a level type 1 civilization from type 0. So yeah, I mean, things are fascinating right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic breakdown, and you did such a good job in that video. You talked about the looking glass tech, and as a super soldier, I have memories of using that glass pad and so forth. So that was also instrumental in helping us move into, well, at least percentage gain into the direction of a positive timeline. Where do you see the timelines breaking out percentage wise? Is there a greater chance we go to the negative, or greater chance we go positive?
Well, due to what I call the Triple Temporal Alliance, which is an alliance that was created by Nikola Tesla back in the 1930s, early 1930s, who actually perfected time travel before he got into the hands of the cabal through the military-industrial complex. Him and John Trump, who was a professor at MIT, both geniuses, were actually able to use the device about 10, 15 years prior to the military-industrial complex in order to secure every probable future reality. And that explains why the positive timeline is at 100% preservation.
Ah, very good. Very good.
And a lot of this ties into one of the, I guess, the best way to describe it is Baron Trump becoming a time traveler as well. Well,
absolutely.
I've come to uncover that actually Nikola Tesla and John Trump were actually visiting. They were coming into the future. They were visiting Donald J. Trump when he was a kid, and they're also currently visiting, believe it or not, Baron Trump. And so Baron Trump and Donald Trump are both time travelers due to this Triple Temporal Alliance.
Yeah, very fascinating. I know you're aware of Andrew Basiago, basically that was in that child, time traveling program. I went to the Civil War in Gettysburg. He was at the Gettysburg Address, and he saw into the future and all kind of crazy stuff. So he actually saw that Obama had been chosen as the future president. He saw him when he was just, I don't know, in the early 20s or something. But the time travel stuff is real. Time wars and 5-dimensional warfare, like you're talking about. Dimensional war, 5D war. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, it's happening all the time. I mean, there are so many operations that are being implemented by the Earth Alliance in order to pretty much hold off the cabal until the great solar flash takes place, which is, again, the thing that's going to split the timelines, cause the ascension of the Earth and all the good people to go into the positive organic timeline. But 5-dimensional warfare is also being executed between Trump and Elon Musk. This illusion that they're portraying lately in the media, that they are at odds and they're actually attacking each other via social media, is actually part of a project called Project Veilfire, which was executed in order to fool the cabal, or what's left of the deep state, in making them think that that these two guys are at odds, but technically they're still working together. So that's an illusion. That's kind of like wrestling, right? These guys come together after the show, you could say, after the match, and they're friends. They have dinner together. It's just like WrestleMania. So there's been a lot. That's to give you guys an example of a 5th-dimensional chess game. And then another thing is Project 2.0, Trust Project 2.0, which is the fact that the Alliance is actually holding off on disclosing the list of the island in order to use it as leverage against deep staters so that they could throw themselves under the bus. So they're trying to bring about this exposure of what's left of the deep state and their final clones through a way where they could just get them all to confess. So it could be as smooth as possible. So that's called Project Trust 2.0. So the list is still scheduled to be revealed. And I just want to clarify something about the list. Now, there's a lot of speculation and rumors that are actually blaming or saying that Trump was on the list. But one of the things that I've came to uncover is that Trump was actually approached in the 1980, 1981, I believe, to become a mole and infiltrate Jeffrey. And so that's why there's a lot of pictures of him and Jeffrey that's been circulating. And a lot of this has to do with the Triple Temporal Alliance. Again, John Trump and Nikola Tesla were able to foresee all of these things from happening, and they were able to also correct the timelines. So from day one, it was revealed that Trump is actually a tasked to become a mole and befriend Jeffrey. But there is evidence that he never attended the island. There is evidence that he boarded the plane, but he never went to that island. He went somewhere else. So I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding that because there's a lot of pictures of him and Epstein circulating all over the internet. But I just wanted to make it clear that Trump was actually approached by the alliance in the 1980s, not recently to run in 2016, but 30, 40 years prior.
Fascinating. So, God, that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at Obama being groomed, can we also look at Trump? Because I think we can, because you talked about how they did the time travel was also groomed. And what can you tell us about that?
Well, again, the entire Trump family are associated with time travel, beginning with his uncle, John Trump. So from day one, ever since Trump was born, he was actually groomed from behind the scenes because the alliance has been around, technically since Lincoln. And then it was resurrected by Eisenhower and Commander Valiant Thor in 1957 after Truman signed our Constitution away over to the Draco Nazi alliance. And so ever since then, you could say that the Trump family has been groomed since Trump was a little boy. He was briefed, since he was a teenager, he was shown certain things. So, and in like manner, also Barron Trump, believe it or not, they actually approached him when he was 15, 16 years old. I think he was already 16 when they first approached him. And he's been time traveling ever since. And that explains why there's a book out there where there is evidence that Barron Trump actually visited the year 1879, I believe. So, wow. Yeah, so the entire Trump family has been involved in time travel with the Triple Temporal Alliance. And the reason they're called that, by the way, Michael, is because they not only secured the future timelines and pretty much checkmated the cabal on every probable Earth reality, because there's alternative Earth versions, but they also went back into the past as far as 2,000 years and actually were able to disclosed information to John the Revelator of the Bible, I believe was the guy who wrote the book Revelation, which is the last book of the Bible. And they told him to pretty much in metaphor form, in a very symbolic way, to write about the future. But they also left him with a manuscript that was actually going to detail, not through metaphor, but in detail, exactly what was going to happen when the alliance finally defeats the cabal in our current time. And that, my friend, became known as the Book Q. So the Book of Q is actually a book that runs parallel to the Book of Revelation, but the Book of Q goes more into detail.
Wow, fascinating. So it's all been planned for thousands of years, what we're seeing right now, and it seems to be unfolding quite well.
Absolutely.
But timeline wars, that probably still going on right now as we're speaking. The good guys basically stalking out the bad guys from, shifting what we have going on. Do we see little Mandela effects still going on?
Well, they were happening until the alliance took over CERN, and through a higher intelligence program that was actually initiated by a feline race known as the Ormas, the Lyrants, the original Lyrants. They were actually able to restore us back to the original sacred timeline. But before that happened, in the last 3 years, you could say that the cabal, through the Large Hadron Collider, was actually using that technology to, again, try to thwart off the positive ascending timeline. And that's the reason why the Mandela effect has been happening ever since they initiated the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. For many, many years, because of the fact that they were actually succeeding in that. They were literally translating us from one timeline to another timeline, and that explains why A lot of the things that we grew up on as kids slightly changed, or at least their words did. Logos, posters, and stuff, movie phrases, all that stuff. That explains all of that. But luckily, within the last 3.5 years, the Alliance took over the Large Hadron Collider, and they were able to actually revert all of that to bring us back to the original sacred timeline. So yeah, part of that is involving, again, the time wars. A lot of this this multidimensional battle against darkness is also being conducted through time travel. And luckily for us, due to the Triple Temporal Alliance, we were able to pretty much undo the cabal on every probable future reality.
Fascinating. Now you speak about an alliance that's above the Galactic Alliance. That's really high dimensional, and we've seen a lot of like souls, galactic souls have been coming in. I've talked to a lot of people that work with them. They're really coming in now. We're talking like 10th dimensional souls that like spend 100 years to like learn how to come in and work in 3-dimensional reality again. So it's fascinating stuff. Now, where do you see them influencing the actual galactic group, and how does that filter down to us?
Well, how it works is that we're in the 3D. So in the 3D, we have the good guys are known as the Y-hats. Now, in turn, the Y-hats work with fourth dimensional beings and 5-dimensional beings and 6-dimensional beings, which are the Galactic Alliance. Now, beyond the 6-dimensional beings, you have also 7th dimensional beings, like the Andromedans, who are a little higher than the Galactic Alliance. See, the Galactic Alliance is broken off into different, you could say, different groupings. You have our local star cluster known as the United Federation of Worlds, or the Association of Worlds. And then you have higher, you could say, involving other star systems and other clusters of stars, known as the Galactic Alliance. Now, they were officially known as the Galactic Federation of Worlds, but in the last 3 years, they were infiltrated by Enki, who came back, who was the negative Anunnaki that actually downgraded us during the times of Atlantis. And Enki was working for an AI group known as the Mitra. So the defectors of the Galactic Federation of Worlds are now working with the military-industrial complex and those that refuse to align with artificial intelligence. Again, this war with AI is not just taking place on a planetary level; it's happening throughout the entire cosmos, and it involves many universes. So yeah, this is a cosmic war that we're fighting against a synthetic inorganic timeline that they call the Phantom Matrix. But to answer your question, so yeah, forces beyond the Galactic Alliance, now as they are known as the Galactic Alliance after the reorganization back in 2022, are known as the Emerald Order. And this was the original Guardian Alliance, known as the Council of Interdimension. No, the Interdimensional Council of Free Worlds. There we go. The Interdimensional Council of Free Worlds. And they've existed for billions of years. That treaty was established in what I call in my book, the realms of eternity. So they stepped down from the realms of eternity into the finite realms, which is what we call the universes of time-space creation, also known as the simulations, in order to anchor the light of the Christ and anchor order and balance in the living cosmos. So yeah, the Emerald Order, they come from the realms of eternity, and that encompasses dimensions that are even unheard of at this time, like dimensions 13, 14, and 15, which we couldn't even fathom at this time. I mean, these beings, they don't even use bodies like we do or crystalline genetics. They're literally made out of pure energy. They're called plasma beings, but they could literally materialize in a physical form.
Wow. So which one of these, the Secret Government, I think is that your most recent book, or?
This one right here, The Secret Government? No, that book is a republished book from 2008, and I actually rewrote it again, adding more information. This book reveals the true history of the war between the Alliance and the Cabal. So I was able to actually, trace back the Alliance all the way to the, Abraham, Melchizedek, King David, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, which are the same bloodlines today that gave us Princess Diana, Lincoln, the original Kennedys, not the fake Kennedys, and of course the Trumps. So it is a bloodline battle, that could be traceable back to the ancient world. So that's what I do in that book is I trace back this battle between the Alliance and the Cabal going back to ancient times at following the flood. And then my other book, Our Cosmic Origin, that one goes into like 560 million years of galactic history, tracing this war between the humankind in our galaxy and the reptilians, of course, going back to Lyra when the Dracos invaded the first human civilization 560 million years ago. So yeah, our history, it goes beyond our world. It goes into other planets as well.
Yeah, great. So wow, that's fascinating. Fascinating work. So you mentioned the fake Kennedys. What I've never heard that before.
Well, it's not that they were the fake Kennedys. It's just that the original bloodline that gave us JFK Sr. is the Onassis family. Onassis. And then later they changed their name to Kennedy. This is when Joe Kennedy decided to work with the Cabal. Because, John F. Kennedy's father, Joe Kennedy, was actually Cabal. He was aligned with the Knights of Malta. He was working with the Council of Foreign Relations and, of course, the Jesuits. And so John F. Kennedy Sr. actually went against his father's wishes. So, yeah, his original name was Onassis. And that is a name that is part of the original bloodline, tracing it all the way back to King David.
Wow. Yeah. Fascinating. So that's interesting that Jacqueline Onassis married an Onassis. So it's the same bloodline?
It's the same bloodline. And one of the things that I've discovered, for those who read The Secret Government, is that there is a reason why both the Cabal families, who are a reptilian human bloodline, and also they're opposite, the good guys, the family of light lineage, they've always interbreeded amongst themselves in order to preserve their bloodline, their genes very, very strong, in order to preserve the bloodline. So that explains why even, Jesus and Mary Magdalene were, believe it or not, they had children because they were both from the same bloodline.
Wow.
That's always been the case for both the what I call in my book the Cain Nimrod reptilian human bloodline of the Dracos, who have been running our world ever since, and their time is up, the deep state, and of course the good bloodline of what I call the lineage of the angelic humans, which could be traceable beyond King David to Abraham, and even beyond Abraham off-world to the original Lyran settlements, and of course the Pleiadian settlements.
Yeah, it was interesting. There was a lot of people, and I talked to a psychic at one time that's helped me with a lot of past lives, but he was talking about how JFK and Jacqueline were the reincarnation of the Camelot. What was the King Arthur and Guinevere? Have you seen anything along those lines? So there's probably a lot of that goes back, and you're talking thousands of years. So that's interesting that their bloodline will continue up, and because they were called Camelot, they called it Camelot. It's like the return of Camelot. So it really kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, King Arthur was not a myth. He was a real character. He was the original heir to the throne of England before the Cabal absurded it and installed their puppets in positions of power, which are today the Windsors, by the way, again, the reptilian human hybrid. But King Arthur was actually the proper heir to the throne by virtue of being a descendant of King David. So, yeah, there's a lot of truth to these myths.
So the Jesus Mary Magdalene line, where does that run in our history and so forth? What do you see with that?
Well, from what I've heard is that they do have a bloodline, and a lot of the people today that are Rh negative blood type are actually their descendants. So if you're Rh negative, you don't have what is called the rhesus monkey protein, which is the primitive gene that could be traceable back to Homo erectus. And according to research and science, about 87% of the population are Rh positive. So about 13% of the population who are Rh negative could actually be traceable back to the Davidic lineage. From what I heard. Mm-hmm. So it's not a bad negative.
I don't know how you keep all this in your head, Ishmael. It's unbelievable. And you just rattle it off. It's like, wow, you're just like a supercomputer. How do you tap into this like that?
Well,
So,
honestly, my friend, I get transmissions from the various
yeah.
commanders, mainly Valley and Thor, who gives me access to dossiers that have been unearthed by Space Force, and so I also, in my past, I've read a lot of books, and I'm also doing research. I always do research just to kind of verify my transmissions. So I'm trying to always stay on top of things when it comes to like what's happening from behind the scenes. And one of my gifts, believe it or not, is that I'm able, through meditation, I'm able to tap into galactic history, interstellar records, and I'm able to take my consciousness, very similar to the way you remote view, into different time coordinates of our universe to
Mhm.
pretty much witness and observe, history that took place beyond what we know here on Earth.
Wow, that's fascinating. I know a lot of people, there's so many in the chat, just like, oh, how does he have, where's his proof? And it's like, the way this works is you get the download, and just like you talked about, you do the research, and they're like, aha, aha, aha. So, uh, you guys out there that doubt, go do your own research, and then you're going to say, aha, or otherwise you can just doubt and be a negative nilly all your life. It's up to you. But, this stuff is real when you start to do the research and you start to have a connection. It's fascinating, fascinating work. I know you have some other stuff going on. Is there any last words you'd like to share with everybody?
Yeah, just that the Orion Wars, which have been going on for millions of years, over 300 million years, have officially ended in our galaxy. So there is a huge galactic jubilee taking place, and all they're waiting for is for the Earth to be liberated in order for the Earth to partake in that celebration. And the reason the Galactic Wars ended, believe it or not, as I mentioned earlier, it seems like that not only we, but our entire galaxy and universe and other universes have been fighting a war with negative AI that originated in an actual different universe that existed 300 billion years ago. And so recently, through a technology that was implemented by the Guardian Alliance, the Emerald Order, who is above the Galactic Alliance, known as the it's known as the white tesseract crystalline diamond, I believe. And what they did is they used that to actually neutralize what was known as the black cube system, which was allowing the AI to infiltrate our galaxy, causing the galactic wars to take place in the last 300 million years, thus ending the wars in Orion in favor of the light. So once they neutralize the galactic black cube network, which is an intergalactic computer network that was again installed by this ancient sentient AI, the entire galactic wars ended in our favor. And from what I heard is that now the Earth is getting ready to be liberated. So that's the good news. And also as a reminder, guys, I'm going to be giving an upcoming cosmic revelation of information that I have not yet released, that I'm actually currently writing in my next upcoming book that won't be published until 2026 at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness on the 3rd of August. And for those that cannot make it in person, I am offering the live stream through my website, our cosmicorigin.com, for only $20. You guys get to see that live stream.
Wow,
And
that's good. Hmm.
thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about that event.
Yeah, you should be. That sounds fascinating and revelatory, I'm sure, for a lot of people that are open to this information. I'm glad to see that there's a lot more people that are open to this. We've had a great audience here. I'm sure this is going to get shared quite a bit. So Ishmael, thank you so much for coming in. It's good to see you again. You're you can just get more amazing as I hear you speak. So congratulations and good job on all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you inviting me back. And I am just, I have all to be grateful for at this time. Things are going well for humanity. We just have to not lose our faith. We've already won the war in the future. We won the war on every reality, on every dimension. It's just a matter of it trickling in our, time frame.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, fabulous. Thanks, Ishmael.
Oh, you're welcome, Michael. You have a good night.
You too. All right, guys, let's go a little bit further. Wow, what a great show, huh? What a great show. Love it when guys are like Ishmael are willing to come on in, because you're kind of out there for a lot of people. So, but some of us, we're like over it. We're just going to put it out there. You like it, you don't. You understand it, you don't. You're willing to be open-minded. I saw somebody in the chat right from the beginning. It's like, it's time to be open-minded, right? So, and that's true. Just be open-minded, and it's nothing else. It starts to piece some stuff together for you, you know. So that's what I love about it. Now, the height of corruption, Kevin Kiley in California, right next door to me. I'm here in Nevada. I'm not going to California for a while. It's a problem area. So I appreciate everyone that's there in California trying to do the good things, like Congressman Kevin Kiley. So he says, Gavin Newsom has announced his most corrupt scheme yet. He is plotting to abolish California's voter-approved Citizens Redistricting Commission, seize its powers for himself, and relegate Republicans to just 3 congressional seats out of 52. So this is the dream of Democrats. The Democrat Party, like I've been saying, probably won't exist by 2028. I think they're going to be completely abolished. Now, I've said many times they're a party of slavery. Now, when you look at sanctuary cities, they're all they say is like, we're for, freedom of people and blah blah blah. Well, most of the people that they have that are there illegally, they stay illegal. They never become legal citizens, and they get anywhere from 30 to 60% less than a U.S. citizen does for work. They're slaves. The Democrat Party is a party of slavery, right? I've said it many times. Go all the way back to the Civil War. They haven't changed. They talk a nice talk. A lot of people have believed in them, but I think a lot of people are really waking up now. So I believe very strongly that we won't see the Democrat Party by 2028. I've been saying for years that the Democrat Party is going to go away. I think we're getting close to that. It doesn't fit into the galactic scheme of things, all right? Where higher consciousness, we move into a higher consciousness. Now, I've heard people say that the Earth bifurcates, and there is another prison planet that's allowed, and I think the Democrat Party may just go that way into the prison planet that they want. All right, so we'll see. Secretly, they're hoping in their soul of soul, if they have one, that they will come along, even though they talk stupid, right? So he's leading the opposition to this brazen plan. This is Kevin Kiley, because Republicans with 6% of the state seats in Congress have 41% of the vote. So there's a disproportion there. And at some point, it's going to get fixed radically. So meanwhile, now this is the one thing I wanted to bring up. Remember that directed energy weapon fire that happened in LA? So they raised $100 million at the Celebrity Fire Act concert. None, zero, went to LA fire victims. Zero. Instead, the money went to nonprofits, money laundering extraordinaire like the Democrats do, and some of which had nothing to do with fire relief. So Kevin Kiley's working on investigation at the judiciary level. I heard him talking about that today. So it's a real unfortunate shit show for the political establishment in California. It gets fixed. People are ready to rise up, but I think it's going to get fixed with ease, with very subtle little things here and there. And I see California in the future undemocrat. No Democrats, right? So, and it'll be a beautiful place. And unfortunately, there may be some earth change events that happen before people wake up to the control system that's very, very wicked of the Black Hat. So, but you heard from Ishmael. Maybe not. Trump says he's thinking about sending tariff-funded rebate checks to Americans. You think that would clue up some Democrats? Probably not. So, it's like Trump has said it many times. I could come up with a cure for cancer, for every disease on the earth. I could give rebate checks of $1 million to everyone. They still hate me. It's just it's insane. That's MK Ultra at the extreme, and a lot of Democrats are there. That's why the party goes away. U.S. government ran a $27 billion budget surplus in June alone, fueled partly by record tariff revenue, which exceeded $100 billion for the first time in a fiscal year. When a reporter asked Trump at the White House if there was a chance of a rebate for Americans due to the revenue, the president said his administration was prioritizing paying off debt, but that a small rebate for some Americans was possible. So that we have like what is it, $26-27 trillion of debt, whatever. I think that's going to go away pretty soon because the Federal Reserve is going to eat it, right? And we're going to seize that multi-billion-dollar building that they're building for the Federal Reserve and turn it into this. What is it? Secretary of Treasury. Yeah, turn it over to them. So the Treasury, the United States Treasury will get that, and it's like it's a beautiful building, big beautiful building. And Trump will make it even more beautiful, right? Trumpize it, and that's going to be good. So, galactically, Trump administration, the Trump family, part of time travel. I've talked about how I have memories of time wars and fighting in time wars as a secret soldier. So very, very interesting information. So Donald Trump says he is going to build a national center for homeless veterans with funds previously spent on money laundering for Democrats. Right? So I don't know. I'm just making it up. But he is saying that he's going to build a center for homeless veterans, and he's going to use funds that have been misappropriated for a very long time. He's going to redirect those funds and get those veterans off the street, get them some good health care, right? And get them some good food and get them healthy. And who knows? Maybe they can take over the positions that are going to be vacated by the Democrats, and we'll get some good veterans in there, right? We'll get them healthy, get them thinking right again, and we'll get them focused. So Marines trained for war. Veterans blast deployment of military to assist ICE in Florida. So like many of us veterans, especially I know in this group here, we know that not all veterans are great. Right? I know no one would say, what? How dare you? Right? No, we have worked with them. We know the knuckleheads are out there, guys, and it's pathetic. So Marines trained for war. They've been redeployed from the border where they've done a great job. They're moving into other states. And why do you think they're going there? They're going there because we have deep state actors that are building up armies in our states, guys. And they intend to basically slaughter us, literally slaughter us